What's going on YouTube? It's your boy IPA back with another video. Here today trying something a little different. Gonna give y'all a little story time. I think it'll be a nice little touch that we're gonna add on to the channel. So if you like, share, comment, subscribe, do all that nice stuff for your boy. But we're gonna get into it. This is a story that I had back from 2018 when me and the homies were still running from the police and shit. So I think this will be something that y'all need to know. Alright, so to get into it, it was about, I want to say it was in December, it was wintertime 2018. I had just came back from college. We were on winter break, and my girlfriend at the time, she had invited me to a little function, right? She invites me to this party, and this isn't anything out of the regular, you know, we were always in the mix, always trying to do some shit, you know, but she invites me to this function, and it's out in this place called the Four Seasons out in Northwest Indiana, you know, like it's a real nice neighborhood, got some real decent ass cribs and shit. So I'm like, all right, you know, going somewhere with some money, you know, it's gonna be a little vibe and shit. Cause I knew that the people she used to go to school with, the motherfuckers always used to have the pack. Them niggas had the packy out. So we end up, me and a couple of my other homies, we decided that we were gonna go pull up. So we get to the function. We drove separate. I ended up meeting my shorty at the crib, and when we pull up, it's decent. You know what I'm saying? It's a little kickback at this point in time. So it wasn't too many people pulling up, but I was reassured that it was gonna get busting. So once we get inside, you know, take shoes off, introduce ourselves to the house owner. It was actually somebody we had met at a previous party back in the past, but you know, just like chopping it up with her, seeing what's up, and then like out of nowhere, so by this point we're all in the kitchen and we're starting to get some drinks and shit flowing. And to kind of set the scene, so in the kitchen there was an island that had a couple bar stools like attached to it, and then behind the island it's a dining table. To the left is the foyer before you get to the front door, and then to the right is the patio door. So, and the rest of the house like is behind, like in front of the bar stools with the island. So we're sitting in the kitchen, and me and the homies and shit, like I pour up a little drink, me and my girl, we taking shots and shit, you know, it's kind of starting to get going, the music's going and shit. And out of nowhere, I see off in the cut, the house owner, the girl whose house it was, she's on the phone, and I could tell she's like kind of spazzing out with whoever she's on the phone with. So I started to walk up a little closer, and as I get closer to the girl, I could overhear her saying over the phone, like, yeah, I hear over the phone they're saying, blah blah blah, we told you not to have no more parties at the house, you're disrespectful, you always do this shit, we're not doing this shit anymore, XYZ. These are white people. So they like, we ain't doing this shit no more, blah blah blah. And as she's going off, the girl who's there, she's like, well, fuck you, mom, like I don't care, we're gonna do it, like I'm gonna do this anyways, like you guys are gone, I'm not even doing anything wrong, XYZ, you know, just going back and forth. So she ends up hanging up on her mom. So I'm looking at her like, damn, like shit, is we good? Like, you know, this just sounds a little serious, you know? So she tells me that everything is straight, and like, you know, she always does this, blah blah blah, reassures me and shit. I'm drunk at the time, so if I were to be sober, I would have had a little more wherewithal to be like, I should still probably get out of this situation before it gets bad. However, it wouldn't be a story to tell if that did happen. Now we get to the point where I'm starting to kind of feel the drink. My girl, she's off doing some shit. Like all her little friends started pulling up and shit. And this dude, I forget his name, but for the sake of the video, we'll call him X. We'll call him X. So X pulls up, and he pulls up with a backpack just with a whole onion in it. A whole, not even an onion. That boy had like he had the whole thing on him. So he pulls it out in the middle of the function, and he's like, shit, who trying to match? So you know, me and the guys, that was what they was waiting for. The homies hadn't even drinking anything like up until this point. So not even 2 minutes before this shit happened, not even 2 minutes after, I mean, this dude pulls the thing out of his bag, all you hear is just I just see everybody look towards the front door. Some kid, I don't even know who the fuck this was. He comes out of the front like, yo, 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 cops, 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 cops. So by this point, everybody, I swear to God, this shit went in slow motion because my adrenaline just started kicking. So I was like, what the fuck? Everybody in the house is scrambling. Like, I'm looking at the homies over here. They're trying to run over to into the house and like trying to hide in the house and shit. But they're like, come on, Reed, come on, come on. And I'm like, nah, I can't go hide because if we get found, I'm drunk. Like, I'm gonna go to jail type shit. I gotta go. Mind you, like I said at the beginning, it's the middle of winter. So I see everyone flooding out of the sliding door, and they're all just trying to get out into the yard. And I'm like, fuck, I ain't got no time to grab no jacket, no nothing. I'm thankful that I grabbed my phone. So I end up jetting. We hit the grass. We running. And I see up in front of us is woods. It's a wooded area. It looks like it's some brush in front, and then it's the woods. And I'm thinking, okay, if I could at least get to the woods, then I could figure some shit out. I'm gonna get away. So I'm hitting the jets. And mind you, I'm one of the last people that got out of the house. So as I'm running, I hear from behind me, all I hear is just, if you don't stop right now, we're gonna let go of the dogs. And I'm hearing the barks and shit. So I'm like, oh, hell no, I'm definitely not stopping. Nigga, I hit the Usain Bolt. I'm gone. So I'm dipping into this woods. I swear to God, as soon as we hit those woods, straight thorns. All thorns. All thorns. All thorns. So by this point, we just in it. We just in it. We don't know what the fuck is going on. Everybody's just, like kind of just getting fucked up and shit. And it's snow on the ground and shit. So it's just like, it's just cold. You getting stuck, like you getting scratched up, everything. So by this point, I'm already knowing my whole fit was ruined. My whole fit was ruined, and it's fucked up because my brother had gave me a pair of OG Concords and I wanted to wear them to the function, and them bitches got torn up. Hey, apology to Naj. Thank you, but I ran through them motherfuckers. However, we get into the woods. Everybody's still running. Like, I see people. It's dark. It's pitch black outside, but you can still see the silhouettes of everybody that's running next to you, you know. So I'm running, and I see, like, as I'm running forward, I could see this, like, log that's like, laying down on the ground. It was from, like, a fallen tree, I'm assuming. So as I'm running, I'm like, okay, bet. I'm about to, like, jump on this log and then jump off and get some momentum and shit. Wrong. Nigga, I jump. My front foot clips the front of the log. So the whole rest of my momentum just sends me forward, nigga. I just smack on the ground into a puddle of water. And I just hear everybody say, damn. Like, it was just like it was such like a surreal moment. That shit, hey. By that point, I was like, yeah, it's really no saving my fit. Like, this shit is done. Like, I just have to make it home. I just got to get the fuck out of here. So we end up getting to a point in the woods where the thorns have stopped, and it's just kind of like an open forest area. But you could see, if you go a little bit further ahead, you could start to see that there's some type of hill that's upcoming. So there are some people that were like opting to just like stand and try to hide from the cops because they're flashing their lights through the woods. But the thing is their dogs ended up getting fucked up by the thorns when they started going in. So they decided not to like keep pursuing us. So some people are like, yeah, I might just like lay low here. I'm like, yeah, nigga, I'm about to keep going, shit. I'm not gonna risk it. So continue walking. Mind you, I'm solo. Like, I don't know anybody that's near me. I recognize faces, but I'm not familiar with these people all the way to know them by name. So at this point, I'm kind of just like, fuck, like, you know, like I gotta figure out like how to, and I'm pretty sure at this point in time, like my phone was off. I went like a fucking 5-year stint of just not having a phone. Like I was just using Wi-Fi for a long ass time. If you're a real nigga, you'd have been there. But honestly, like I didn't know what the fuck I was gonna do in this situation. So I had to decide to just keep moving forward. So I end up walking up towards this hill, and as I get to the top of this hill, I see that I'm on a golf course. Like, I'm at some type of country club. So I'm like, oh, all right, like, maybe I can kind of figure some shit out. And, like, there's other people around me, so I'm thinking, like, maybe motherfuckers gonna work on trying to get us a ride or some shit. Or maybe some people are more familiar with where we're at, so, you know, they could hook us up with some shit. But my girl, she ends up coming out the cut out of nowhere, and she's just like walking up, and I'm like, oh shit, babe, what's good? I walk up to her, and as I'm walking up to give her a hug, I look down and I see that she has no shoes on, one sock, one motherfucking sock. And that shit was so crazy to me that she had this she just jetted like this. She just got out the jam, and I was like, damn, bitch, I love your ass. But shit, that shit, man. But anyways, we end up linking up. We decided to go, like, somebody was familiar with the golf course, so we're kind of just walking through it, and there was this little kind of, it looked like it was like a little access like pathway that you can get from the road to the golf course if need be type shit. So we started walking down this pathway. By this point, I'm in the front of the pack because, like, I'm just like, damn, like, once we get to this road, we could call somebody to come pick us up, blah blah blah, coming up with a plan for the group. And as we get towards the end of this pathway, I just see this car speed up, and it just stops, and all you see is the light from the fucking cop car just shining through the entire woods. Everybody's just down, everybody's just trying not to get seen and shit, and like really just trying to hide behind some shit, but most of us are in the middle of the pathway, so it's nothing to hide behind. So the light ends up hitting me right on the face, and they just say, everybody get down, stop running. And they're getting out the car. We just turn around, start running back towards the golf course. But I seen this little, like, it looked like it was like a shortcut, so I tried to go down this little like ravine, and we just end up getting surrounded by thorns again. So I'm like, fuck, what the fuck? And the cops are still coming down the pathway. So by this point, I'm just like, fuck it. My clothes is already ruined. I gotta, you know what I'm saying? Like, we gotta get out of this jam. So I just jumped, put my whole body into the thorns, and just fucking like spread, like got a little pathway made for us to just big enough for us to actually squeeze through without getting too harmed. And we end up running back onto the golf course, and we get to the front of the country club. Somebody was already on the phone trying to get somebody to come pick us up that had made it back from the party. So they end up, long story short, they end up spinning and getting us, and we got picked up, and we ended up going back to one of my girls' friends' cribs, and like a lot of people that were at the function were there, so we're all just smoking, chopping it up, telling our war stories and shit. And motherfucking the guy X, he ended up being there. So when that shit all started playing out, he told us that he basically he ran out of the sliding door, but he was thinking, since the cops seen everybody running that way, he was going to try to run back into the front of the house and try to go to his car to see if he could just make it to the whip. And when he ran back into the front of the house, there was still one, he said it was like a fat cop just standing out there and shit, but he seen him running, so the fat cop starts running after him and shit, and he's trying to hit him with the taser. So dude says that the cop shoots the first taser, and he sees he gets to the floor, and he sees the little fucking prongs, the electrical prongs, just shoot over his head. So he gets up, goes and runs again, and the cop is sitting there trying to shoot him. Like, he shoots another shot at him, misses the second shot, and then they get around this car. So now they're like kind of just playing like fucking Ring Around the Rosie on this car, and the cop ends up shooting his last little fucking cartridge at the dude, and he ends up missing again. And X, he wasn't able to get to his car, but he ended up just jetting and got picked up by somebody else. But he lost his whole sack, like he left his whole book bag at the function type shit. So he ended up having to take a loss on that shit, but the nigga made it out without, getting caught up on no shit. The girl who ended up having the function, since all that alcohol and all those drugs and shit were at the party, she ended up getting like in some serious shit behind that shit, but because her family just wasn't playing that shit. I guess this wasn't the first time that situation had happened, so she ended up taking the charge for a lot of that shit. But I think a lot of it got dropped too. Like, it was just like a dumbass fucking situation, honestly. But the homies that ended up staying inside, these motherfuckers, I guess the cops ended up coming in the house, obviously, and they ended up finding all the people that were hiding in the back side of the house, like hiding in the back rooms and shit. So the cops end up making everybody go out to the front, and they're just on bullshit with them. They're just like, yeah, if you blow anything, if you're drunk at all, you're not going home, you're going to jail. You might as well call your parents if you're drunk right now, because you're going to get locked up. And one of my friends, he had ended up taking a little sip out of his drink, but it was just like his drink was overflowing a little bit, you know. So he drank a little bit to kind of get it level, but he never drank like the actual drink itself, or he drank a very small portion. So bro ends up blowing like a .01 or like something like super fucking small, but the cop tried to get on his ass, and they tried to they put bro in handcuffs and shit. And his mom ended up calling them, going off on them and shit. You know, this is white shit. This is shit that doesn't happen for black people. You know what I'm saying? You don't get out of those situations by your mama calling. Like, it's not happening. So, they basically ended up getting out of the situation without too much bullshit that happened. And then to really like top it all off, I remember I was telling this story to my homies back then when it originally happened. And when this happened, actually, I said this story was somewhere in 2018, but I meant it was somewhere in 2016, now that I think about it, because I was at the lunch table with all my homies telling the story, and at the time, I was just starting to grow my dreads out, so they were freeform and shit, they were really rough, but one of my dreads, like, I was feeling on my dread, because, like, I felt something hard inside of it, and a fucking thorn just falls out of my hair onto my lunch tray, nigga, and it was just like the perfect ending to that shit, I feel like. But that shit was a crazy ass story. So if you fuck with the stories, if you want to see some more of this shit, please subscribe, like, share, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Show me some love. Make sure to come back, watch the rest of the videos, watch the interviews. It's your boy IPA, and I'm out.
Yeah, a crime pays, nigga, crime pays. Chopping up the change, put cocaine in my microwave. Made it through my whole month with my lights out. I see